We shall start the session. Very good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 285th edition of our entrepreneurship. Myself, Dr. Rahalya. So, before going to the session, let me give a short introduction about our center. So, Manage started a webinar series has started in 2020, which has delivered 284 uninterrupted weekly webinars, driving capacity building, innovation diffusion, and entrepreneurial momentum across India's sector. So, this years of Manasia championing agripreneurship, innovation ecosystem, and enterprise acceleration in India's agricultures. Till date, our outreach has connected with more than 50,000 participants, featuring insights from 500 domain experts, ecosystem leaders, and industry practitioners who have catalyzed transformation across agriculture value chains. Manasia has emerged as a launchpad for agri-innovators, empowering over 1,100 entrepreneurs to convert their ideas into scalable ventures. And also, we are proud to have incubated 630 startups spanning diverse agriculture sectors. We are also mentoring entrepreneurs through various programs such as Manage Agri-Eureka, Incubation Program, Stakeholder Connect, Pre-Incubation Mentoring Programs, Digital Marketing Skills for Agri Startups, and various capacity building programs to strengthen the agri startup ecosystem. Along with this, we are also offering expert guidance and specialized training in crucial areas such as agro-processing, post-harvest technologies, value addition, farm mechanization, animal husbandry, fisheries, dairy, commodity trading, supply chain management, and agri consultancy, ensuring that our entrepreneurs are equipped to tackle every challenge in their journey. In today's session, we are going to focus on theme called Government Policies and Programs Supporting Agri-Tech Growth. It is privileged to introduce our resource persons for the today's session. To begin, I would like to invite our Managing Intern Gauri to introduce our first speaker for the today's session.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good morning to all. I am Gauri Javudi from Team Manage TIA. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Subhash Kiran sir, a seasoned development and entrepreneurship professional with over 17 years of experience in implementing large-scale government livelihood and MSME programs. Mr. Kiran has played a key role as state lead for the Pradhan Mantri formalization of micro food processing enterprise scheme in Andhra Pradesh, where he supported the establishment of more than 7,000 enterprise, contributing significantly to the enterprise formulation and effective program implementation. He has also served as IT advisor to the National Rural Livelihood Mission, where he contributed to the development of MIS and digital system for large-scale livelihood program. Currently, as a program director, he is leading the implementation of the district entrepreneurship mission in Visakhapatnam, overseeing multiple pilot initiatives designed to be scalable and replicable under structured government framework. With this strong experience in the program design, digital system, and entrepreneurship development, he brings valuable insight into building sustainable and impactful livelihood models. We are delighted to have him with us today and look forward to his valuable insight. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, all participants. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Sorry for the disturbance in between. So actually, I'm at home for the festival. So yeah, you have to kindly bear with me for any such disturbances in between. And thank you, Manage, for having me here. And this is my privilege to interact with so many aspirants and being, able to play some small role in supporting their entrepreneurial ventures. So besides this program, whatever that we are going to have for this 20-minute session today, so further from our organization side and also from my personal experience, I'm really glad to extend any kind of support that is required, in furthering your entrepreneurial ventures. So you can reach out to me. I'll share my number in the end of the session. So with this, I hope you all are aware of the topic today. So of course, we are going to deal with a much bigger one. It takes at least 2-3 days to give a complete information of all the schemes that are available for the development of enterprises in agri and allied sectors. But this in 20 minutes, I'm trying to make an attempt to bring or list down some of those important schemes and how can you utilize them in combination so that you can get maximum support when you are in the initial stages of your enterprise development. Okay, so I'll take you through the priority schemes, and in case if somebody needs any of these more in detail, we can discuss if the time permits. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Yeah, I hope you are all able to see
Yes,
the
sir, we can
screen.
go ahead.
Is
Yeah.
it visible in full screen?
Yeah, fine.
All right, thank you. So these are some of the important schemes. Of course, I'll take you through each scheme in detail. So first one, of course, it's my favorite because I also was heading the scheme in Andhra Pradesh, and I managed the scheme from its launch till last year, almost like 4 years. It's PMFME. The scheme is primarily intended to promote and also support the growth of micro enterprises in the food processing space. So why food processing? Most of the enterprises in the agri sector, if you look at them, the majority of them are coming in the food processing space because of multiple reasons. One, food is an important product, and which has not got affected even during the times of COVID, that when every other industry has affected. This is one product where even India's exports to foreign countries has increased tremendously, and seeing and with the increase of a lot of awareness related to quality food and safety, and also the nutritional importance of food, and now people even started considering food as medicine. So any innovation that is happening in the food processing space is taken up or actually invited by the consumers with open arms, and there's a tremendous scope that we see here. So with this opportunity, and which is growing, the government of India wanted to support at least 2 lakh enterprises in 5 years period, and that with that objective, this scheme was launched in 2020, but formally came into existence in 2021. So this helps any micro entrepreneur, or somebody already having an enterprise into food processing, or somebody into any enterprise activity and planning to get into food processing. So they'll be provided with a subsidy of 35 lakh rupees. 35%, which is up to 10 lakh rupees maximum. That is in case of individual entrepreneurs. So whereas in case the enterprises are promoted by groups like SHGs or farmer producer organizations, then the support is again 35%, and the maximum amount can go up to 3 crores. In both the cases, the beneficiary contribution is 10%, and the remaining 90% is provided in the form of a bank loan, and which is also facilitated by a team of professionals engaged by the government for implementing the scheme and supporting these micro entrepreneurs. They are called DRPs, district resource persons. So they help you in preparing the DPR, negotiating with the banker, facilitating bank loan, and in the end, they'll also help you in getting the FSSAI license. So FSSAI, Food Safety Standards Authority of India, the license is paramount importance, because without that you cannot label and sell your products in the open market. So the entire end-to-end support, starting from the concept development to DPR preparation to bank loan assistance to even getting this FSSAI license, is done by the government for free of cost. So this is one important scheme. Anybody who is planning to get into the food processing enterprise, so this is something that they can consider. And of course, all of you might be aware of the most popular scheme called PMEGP. Anyway, I'll be covering it in the later. But it also has this component, but that PMEGP focuses on all kinds of products and services, whereas PMFME is specially designed to support the food processing enterprises. So there is a special consideration, and the people who are involved in it, including the bankers, are very well sensitized about what sort of enterprises can we cover under this, starting from primary processing to tertiary processing. So that's about the PMFME. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. This is again a scheme which is implemented by Ministry of Agriculture. So the idea here is to improve the post-harvest handling practices, thereby reducing the wastage and improving the shelf life of the commodity which is coming from the farm. So mostly any facility that is required for storage, primary processing, of any commodity nearest to the farm gate is supported under this AIF, Agriculture Infrastructure Fund scheme. So here, the benefit or the support that is provided is any intervention or any project up to 2 crores is supported under CGTMSE. Hope you are all aware of what is CGTMSE. So CGTMSE, Credit Guarantee Trust Scheme for micro and small enterprises, that is like more like an insurance on the loan that you are taking from the bank. Okay, whatever is the loan amount that bank is sanctioning to you against your DPR, detailed project report, it is insured by the bank for a small premium of about 1% of the total loan that you are taking. So due to this, banks are able to extend or provide this support in the form of loan without any collateral. So basically, so you can avail loan up to 2 crore rupees without any collateral under AIF, as it is by default covered under CGTMSE by all the banks. One. Second benefit that you get is on the loan amount, whatever is a interest that the banker asks for, be it 8%, 9%, 10%, 3% of it is given back to the government, by the government to the banker. That's called interest subvention. So effective percentage of interest that you'll be paying is actual interest by the bank minus 3%. And here, the interesting factor is the PMFME and AIF can be combined and taken support for the same project. So for example, you are planning an enterprise with an investment of say 50 lakh rupees. So you can avail 35% subsidy under PMFME and also this 3% subvention and collateral free loan covered under CGTMSE from AIF. So this convergence is very well facilitated by the government with the AIF, with Agriculture Department having this convergence portal built with all allied sectors, including food processing. So this is a dedicated portal available. So you can go and apply there for the combination support, and it is approved by the central government instantly. So that is AIF. Third is, this is another interesting one, though we think why we are discussing with FPOs here. But here, formation and promotion of 10,000 FPO scheme of Government of India is very well accepted by the farmers, and it is very helpful for entrepreneurs who are planning to get into agri-tech kind of a space where they want to create common infrastructure facilities like the warehouses, cold storage facilities, or even logistics facilities to a large number of farmers can make avail of this benefit. So under this, any 10 members, any 10 farmers, or any 10 entrepreneurs who are into the farming space can come together and register a FPO. And once they increase the base of number of participants to 300, they can avail this equity grant of 15 lakh rupees under this scheme and capacity building support to its farmers members up to 15 lakh rupees. So any agri-tech company planning to promote a large scale products or services kind of intervention can think of exploring this opportunity. And next one is RKVY-RAFTAAR. So this is, I think, very popular among all the startups. This is a scheme where support is extended to agri startups starting from the ideation phase itself. In case if somebody is planning on an innovative product or a solution, like it could be a mobile app, it could be a tool, it could be a small equipment related to farming activity or a processing activity, or it could be a mobile app which gives information on the soil health instantly or something of that sort. Maybe now AI is utilized in large scale in agriculture space. If anybody is planning to develop solutions around that also are considered under this, starting from the ideation stage itself. So an amount of rupees 5 lakh rupees is provided to during the ideation phase. So once the ideation is completed and when you are getting into prototype phase, then another 25 lakh rupees is provided to the startups. So even to get this support, it is quite simple. Under RKVY-RAFTAAR, incubators are established in various reputed institutions and universities, and they call for proposals. Otherwise, also people with a detailed project proposal can approach the incubators, and based on the scrutiny, they are considered for various rounds, be it pre-seed round or seed round of incubation. So, sorry, what's the time? Yeah, I have another 10 minutes if I'm not wrong. So I just quickly take you through the other schemes. I know I'm running a little faster, but due to time constraint, we have to do it. And at the end, in case if any of you want more details, we can discuss about those particular schemes. Another one that I request all of you to go and explore is PM Kisan Sampada Yojana. This is for a little larger scale projects ranging from 3 crore rupees investment to up to 30 crore rupees investment. So here also grant is provided for establishing common processing facilities, and even including development of food parks. So where 10 acres of land is converted into a food park where more than 5 enterprises can come up and set up units. If somebody is planning to create that kind of infrastructure, little bigger projects, so there also support is provided in the range of 35% to 75% of the project cost. And any enterprise, be it a private limited company, an FPO, are eligible to avail support under the scheme. But this is not an open-ended scheme. Every year, twice, Ministry of Food Processing Enterprises issue an EOI. So against that EOI, one has to submit the proposal, and during that time, all the details will be published on their web portal. Okay, so I request all of you to go through it, because it's a PM Sampada is not one single project, one single scheme. There are multiple schemes under that, starting from CEF, PPC to a whole lot of schemes. And if somebody is planning to create a large scale infrastructure for cold storage facilities, so there's a specific scheme under cold storage where grant is supported up to 10 crore rupees. Okay. Next is NLM. This is again for micro enterprises who are planning to create something like innovative projects, starting from backyard poultry to nowadays there is a lot of demand and interest for country chicken and also for country eggs. So if somebody is planning to develop enterprise around that, NLM is a fantastic scheme for them, where support up to 50% on the total project cost, up to 15 lakhs is provided by Government of India by Department of Animal Husbandry. So now support is provided only for 3 categories. One is backyard poultry. Poultry birds, basically. It need not be backyard poultry. The number of birds will start from 1,000 birds, and it can go up to 10,000 birds. And then this about the sheep, goat, and piggery. Okay, so piggery, piggery also is supported in the scheme. So a combination of NLM and PMFME, a combination of NLM and maybe if we are planning for a bigger one, PM Kisan Sampada is also allowed. Okay, so you can combine whatever schemes I'm listing here. You can combine 2-3 schemes to get the maximum benefit, because one scheme ends and the other scheme starts there. Except AIF, where primary processing activities are covered across, whether it is under PMFME or RAFTAAR or Kisan Sampada, wherever it is. Primary processing is covered as a convergence model, where anybody will get additional 3% interest subvention. And so there are a few other important ones, so of which the bigger one is Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund. This is for much bigger projects. So this is here also support is provided not in the form of subsidy, but interest-free loan. Sorry, what is that? Collateral-free loan is provided, and interest subvention is provided up to 3% of the project cost. So this is for bigger units where somebody was planning to put up a dairy processing unit for producing value-added products, meat processing units, so that kind of stuff. And then PM Matsya Sampada Yojana. This is again for improving the quality supply of aquatic products, starting from processed fish to processed shrimp and other processing units, and also setting up retail outlets. Here also support is provided between 40% to 60%, where 40% is for the general category, 60% is for any women or any SC/ST farmer or an entrepreneur willing to set up a processing facility or a retail outlet facility under PM Matsya Sampada Yojana. And I'm not going to cover about National Beekeeping Mission because anyway, that is again a different thing. So in case if somebody is willing to start beekeeping as an activity, there are 3 different levels in it, and those details you can browse through under National Beekeeping Mission's website. And here I want to highlight these last two schemes, APEDA, Export Promotion Schemes, and National Horticulture Board schemes. So APEDA is a body which is facilitating exports of processed agriculture-based foods from India. So when I'm saying agriculture, they only deal with agriculture and horticulture-based commodities where there are no separate boards. For example, there is a board for coffee, there is a board for cocoa. So coffee, cocoa are not covered under APEDA. They are covered under respective export promotion councils. APEDA helps in marketing of any agriculture and horticulture based commodities. Okay, so here the support is in multifold. One, even for creating infrastructure which is up to the export standards, including the establishment of pack houses, establishing packaging facilities, cleaning and sorting facilities, all that are supported under APEDA with 50%, up to 50% as subsidy. And they also support quite a large number of entrepreneurs who are registered with APEDA through their RCMC, that is the registration cum marketing membership certification, to participate in various national and international exhibitions. So their subsidies are also provided to them up to 100% of the total cost, including the travel. Okay, NHB is again a comprehensive set of schemes that is primarily to support infrastructure development for improving productivity and production of horticulture commodities. Okay, which includes collection centers, cold storage facilities, and poly houses, even establishing plant nurseries, and even promoting shade nets for raising small scale nurseries. Even supporting marketing of agriculture and horticulture commodities by supporting the mobile markets through vans. So these are the set of schemes, the top schemes I've covered. And one more scheme I missed here is AMI, Agriculture Marketing Initiative of NABARD, where marketing of any agriculture commodity is supported by way of providing 50% subsidy to establish warehouses, cold storage facilities, as I mentioned. Any infrastructure that can facilitate marketing of produce is supported by NABARD. There, the local scheduled banks act as implementing agencies. Whoever is interested to set up facilities under that scheme can submit a proposal to the local bank, and support is extended by NABARD once it is approved by the committee at the district level. So these are the set of schemes, and these are the categories. So whatever I've shown, these are the categories for individuals: PMFME, AIF, NLM, NHPM. And when it comes to group enterprises, you have the PMFME again for both individual and group category, and AIF again for the group, and PMMSY and NLM for the group categories. And for startups, RKVY-RAFTAAR, as I mentioned, is the most relevant one if somebody is into innovative product development and stuff. Otherwise, they can also explore AIF and PM Kisan Sampada if they are planning for little bigger projects. AHIDF, if somebody is specifically looking at establishing something in the animal husbandry space. Okay, and then, so this is the combination that I mentioned. So PMFME plus an FPO plus AIF, the combination is the most powerful one when you are planning to set up an innovative processing facility at a little larger level. Well, little larger, I mean to say where the investment go up to 10 crore rupees. Okay, so from 1 crore to 10 crores. So you can look at this combination, and then as I mentioned, RKVY-RAFTAAR is for innovation-driven startups, and then NLM and PMMSY is ideal for rural-based livelihood interventions. If any of you are planning to set up a social enterprise to promote large-scale rural livelihood projects, so NLM and PMMSY combination can be explored. Okay, I think there are a few questions. I'll take those questions before, if the time is.
1 minute, sir. I'll let you know.
Yeah, because
Gauri,
time is running out. That's the reason I had to stop it. Otherwise, we can continue. I'll share I think I already shared the PPT. So whatever I explained, they are detailed in the next slides. You can share with the participants if that is okay. I just wanted to have a look at
I'll
questions that
I'll let you know. Wait, sir. Wait 1 minute. Because the second speaker also joined. After the second speaker, we can take all together questions.
Fine, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for this informative session on government schemes for startups in agriculture and allied sectors. And thanks for explaining how the government schemes work and how they support entrepreneurs at different stages from idea to scale up, and especially for the individuals, FPOs, and startups at the right mechanism. Thanks for highlighting combination models of schemes, like how to access the subsidies and credit supports and infrastructure development. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. So the participants, if you have any questions regarding this session, you can keep in chat box, and also you can raise your hand. So the questions will be taken up after the second speaker presentation. So I think Yasin Sharif sir is already came. Yasin sir.
Hey, hi,
So
good
to
afternoon.
yeah,
Good
yeah. So
morning.
to yeah, good morning, sir. Very good morning. So to introduce Yasin sir, I would like to invite our managing intern Kanika. Kanika, please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to all. I'm Kanika Rajos from the Managed CIA team. It's my pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Yasin Sharif Sheikh. He is advisor at White Spaces and an investment professional with around 10 years of experience in venture capital and startup ecosystem development, with strong expertise in investment management and capital deployment across early stage and growth stage startups in India. During his tenure at NSRCEL, IIM Bangalore, he established the equity investment vertical where he led direct investment in high growth startup across sectors such as health tech, AI, mobility, and cybersecurity. He has facilitated over rupees 50 crore in equity funding and built strong relationship with more than 50 institutional investors, including venture capital firms, angel networks, and financial institutions. Previously at Fund Enable, he played a key role in building India's first founder-facing investment readiness platform, partnering with over 62 incubators and innovation bodies to support startups in fundraising, investment readiness, and capital access. He has been actively involved in strengthening the startup ecosystem by enabling structure, funding support, and investor connections. His insights into investment readiness, funding opportunity, and government-supported programs are backed by extensive hands-on experience in the Indian startup and venture capital ecosystem. We are truly honored to have him with us today. Without further delay, I now invite Mr. Yasin Sharif Sheikh sir to take the session forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kanika. Can you please help me with the screen sharing access?
Yes, sir. I'll give it. You are already a presenter. You can share.
Yeah. Hope you people can see my screen.
Yes, sir. So it will kindly make it a slideshow.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope it's visible now.
Yeah, fine.
Perfect. Hi, participants. Good morning. Thanks for taking out time on the Eid and then coming across to join our session. I hope Mr. Subhash should have given you a very detailed overview of what government policies, schemes, etc. So I will slightly put it in a different note. When we build agri-tech startups, ideally, uh, rather than running for equity funding, it's always good to get a non-equity dilutive funding before we scale our business. That's the context when we look for the agri businesses. That's more suitable because before I go, as I will skip this slide because it's in a habit though I have put this slide. So agri-tech businesses are not something like a technology businesses or SaaS businesses. Most of the time SaaS businesses are something like software as a service. You have a plugin option, you plug it into your existing business operations and then you start using it, then the organization starts making revenue. But if you look at agri-tech startups, agri allied startups, the turnaround time or the typical time for them to start making profits is at least 5 to 8 years. So in those duration of time you need to sustain those 5 to 8 years, which needs a longer gestation time. So longer time is needed for revenues, high upfront cost is involved, and fragmented markets. See, farming markets, agri-related markets, animal husbandry related market, fishery markets, these are highly fragmented and capital is drying up. There are hardly VCs who actually whose core focus is into agri-tech or agri-space to invest in. That's the one of the challenge that we face today. So before we move forward from this slide, just wanted to ask, have you people tried raising any capital in the past? Anyone in the audience? Anyone wanted to share any thoughts? I hope no one has tried any raising any sort of capital. So I will move forward. So one of the major aspects for government is the agriculture, because it's the backbone of India, and then most of our agri exports are major source of revenue. That's the reason government has been supporting agri-tech startups or agri startups from day one. These government backed schemes or opportunities from the government really help startups to de-risk their innovation at the pre-revenue stage, rather than you go out scout for capital on the equity front, etc., because it's a time consuming, and as well it takes larger time to close, and then you have very few VCs or maybe the angel investors who actually invest in agri businesses. So finding out them, reaching out to them, and then closing the round is really a pain point. And then at very early stage, you tend to dilute higher equity, which is always difficult for you to raise next round of capital. That's where it's good to have a government backed schemes to use and utilize those funds. Then you go ahead with raising the equity capital. Early funders provide non-dilutive capital via grants and subsidies. Who gives us grants and subsidies? Most of the time, these government grants and subsidies are available through the incubators, as well as there are certain schemes where the direct applications are also accepted. And these grants, etc., will really help you to do your pilots, build the entire ecosystem across your product or the service, as well as to procure and then create demand at very early stage. So this is what the government schemes will help you with. Now if we look at the startup life cycle, first stage is something like idea stage. Then we have a prototype stage where we build, where we think of a problem statement, identify the problem statement, figure out a solution either through a service or by building a product. Then you also build a MVP, minimum viable product, to test it out. How do you do this entire activity? You need to good to have grants, incubation support, bootstrap, or if you are, if you have capital enough to build this business, it's good to have a bootstrapping business. Then if we look at, there are government schemes like RKVY-RAFTAAR, Startup India Seed Fund, etc. In early revenue stage, so when you have tested your product, when your product has been used by the target customer, and then you receive some feedback, and then you refine it, and then before you launch your final product, you win the customer's confidence where they are ready to pay either to your product or the service. That's where the major challenge is your working capital, which has to be used. So working capital is provided by the banks. Typically it's a form of a debt. Then you can also use here something called as revenue based financing. So based upon the revenue of the organization, you get upfront capital from a revenue based financier. Either the revenue based financiers are again type of a venture capital fund. From there you can get the funds. One, you pay them in form of EMIs, but the EMIs are dependent based on your revenue. Then you can also get a soft loans from NABARD, SIDBI, etc. Then the fourth stage is the growth stage, where you go out, reach out to large markets. You expand from one geography to other geography, where you get venture debts, and AgriSure is again a venture fund, etc. Then here it's good to use blended capital structures. When we say about blended capital structures, if your requirement is maybe 10 crore rupees, you fulfill maybe 5 to 6 crore rupees through equity funding, 4 to 5 crore rupees maybe through debt funding. So that's how you blend 2 to 3 instruments of capital so that you can scale your business. And then final stage, the fifth stage is the scale up stage, where you expand it very absorbently, where you go ahead and raise actual VC funds or corporate venture capital funds, Series A, Series B, Series C, etc. happen. Here, equity is a good tool for scale because this is not the survival stage. You have crossed your survival stage during early revenue and growth stage. This is the stage where you multiply your business in multiple folds in very short time. That's where your equity money will help you. Because in the agri businesses, as we discussed, there is a huge infrastructure requirement at the very early stage. You have done that all because VCs doesn't help, does not, VCs when they put in money, they does not support you to build assets for the company. They want to pump in money for the growth of the company. So I will, let me just differentiate building assets in the sense, if you buy a machinery and then you spend, maybe the machinery cost is 50 lakh rupees. If you are raising 1 crore of equity capital and putting 50 lakh rupees into machinery, then the turnaround time for returns is higher. But if you look, you have an existing machinery and then you put the entire 1 crore rupees into product development, marketing, hiring, etc., then your revenue growth comes very faster. So that's what the scale type where the VC funds are very much interested in agri businesses, for that matter any of the capital intensive businesses. So in during the scale up stage, it's good to focus on raising money through the equity instrument. Now first is the, like, first and foremost thing is to go to the government grants. This is a free capital. When I say free capital, you doesn't dilute any equity. There is no repayment for this. It's purely based on the milestones. Now if you are developing a product, if you are working in an agri sector where you are supporting, you are building a technology which supports maybe FPOs, then what stage you are at this point of time, how many FPOs you are working with, so how many, what is your team size at this point of time, and then how many geographies you are working with. So based on these you build your milestones. With this maybe 10 lakh rupees of a grant that I get, so I will be able to fully have my working technology in place. And then currently I'm working with 5 FPOs, and then I can grow up to 50 FPOs. Currently I'm operating in the region of Karnataka. With this money and then the support, I can go ahead and expand in maybe entire South India. So these are certain milestones. So every time when you raise these grants, it's tied to the milestones. It's tied to the milestones in the sense milestones should be measurable. Why we say it should be measurable is that every time so you cannot measure anything in the quantified way, in the qualified way. You can only measure in the quantified way. That's where you need to have structured milestones and impact matrices. When we say about impact matrices, with this technology, what is the impact that you are able to create to the FPO? So it can be increasing their income, it can be increasing the farmers income indirectly, it can be any of the things. What is the impact that your organization is creating? Then you good to look at like incubator programs, because you will be able to get seed funding, you will get mentorship, you get lab access at every point in the government schemes. It starts from the incubator, because incubator doesn't only fund you, they offer you a plethora of services which actually help you to scale your business. But unfortunately, when we speak to most of the founders, when they look at incubation as a grant support instrument, or maybe uh, in the or maybe the source to help them to connect to the VCs or maybe the equity investors to raise money. But that's the one aspect. If you look at the entire ecosystem, what incubation centers or the incubator programs offer you, that will really help you to scale your business if you are able to structure it accordingly. Then you can leverage on subsidies and credit. So there are lot of subsidies under various programs of government being provided, so you need to check for them and then you can avail them. So how do you get this all information? Incubators are the right source who can provide you with this entire information. Then you can also look for revenue based financing. These are the 4 different structures or the 4 different ways where you can raise your first capital stack. So this is where you raise your first check. Then To speak about government programs, there is something called as RKVY-RAFTAAR, which gives you 25 lakh rupees of a grant. It has again multiple stages. Then you also get an incubation support from the incubation center. You get mentorship support, and it's best for early stage agri-tech startups or agripreneurs because there is also a smaller grant which they provide, which helps the agripreneur or the entrepreneur to pursue his business. Then we have Startup India Seed Fund. Under Startup India Seed Fund, we have two divisions. One is a grant component up to 20 lakh rupees. Then there is an debt component. We call it like compulsorily convertible debentures, which we use CCDs. There is also a format where we get up to 50 lakh rupees. Now, at the very early stage, I would recommend you to focus on the grant. And then this 20 lakh rupees of a grant will help you to complete your proof of concept or build your prototype of the product. Then we have AgriSure through NAB Ventures, which is again a 750 crore equity fund, debt fund, market access fund. So again, there are different divisions in it which can help you according to your stage of the business. Typically, it's good to raise the money from these NAB Ventures when you are in the growth stage. Then we have AIFs, alternative investment funds. Again, you get like credit link subsidies, etc. This is majorly focused for infrastructural support startups who build infrastructure for agri related to like cold storage, processing, etc. That's where these schemes come in picture. I joined 5 minutes early, so I saw Subhash covering a couple of these schemes, so I'm not paying much attention here. So if we look at RKVY-RAFTAAR, then again it's as on 2024, 1708 startups have been supported through this, and then the capital deployed is 122.5 crores till 2024. Usually you get typically 25 lakh rupees per startup. And then how do you access this is like you need to register yourself as a startup under DPIIT, Department for Promotion of Internal Trade, through Startup India portal. Once you get your DPIIT registration done, then you can apply through RKVY Incubator. You need to identify which incubator is recognized under this scheme, and then you can apply through those. So how do you apply? You need to submit your business plan, prototype details, and financials, so that it explains what's the product or the service that you are offering, where you are today, and how it is going to be, and how does your cash flows look like. Then there will be a screening process. Once the screening is done, then you will pitch to the evaluation committee. Then they check the milestones. Once this everything is done, once you get through the investment committee, then there is a high probability of getting the fund transferred to your account. So a couple of success stories who have used RKVY-RAFTAAR for the growth of their businesses, like Dihat, then there is Loopworm, AgroStar. These are the three startups which I am just mentioning here. There are more startups. As we see, 1708 startups have been supported under RKVY-RAFTAAR till 2024. So these are the three startups who have made remarkable success in their journey. So your non-dilutive launchpad for prototype market is very important. So there are again multiple things under Startup India Seed Fund. You get 20 lakh rupees of a grant, as I said, and then 50 lakh rupees of a debt thing. 230 incubators are recognized under or empaneled under Startup India Seed Fund. Total scheme outlay is 945 crores. As of 2024, over 2,600 startups have been supported with a funding of 4,607.75 crores dispersed. Again, because the Startup India Seed Fund slightly looks at little more scaled ventures, I would be wrong to say it's scaled, because rather than at the idea stage, if you have your prototype, the chances of getting into Startup India Seed Fund is very convenient. It remains the same. You have to be a DPIIT recognized startup. However, your incorporation date, from the date of your incorporation, you should not have crossed 2 years of the age for 2 years of the age for the company, and 51% of the equity should be at least with the Indian founders. Then you can work on the innovation, scalable product, etc. You should not, one more thing is that this is very recently introduced, you should not have raised or received more than 10 lakh rupees of a support from any of the state central nodal agencies before you raise Startup India Seed Fund. Preference again here is like agriculture, biotech, food processing, healthcare, provided there are also other segment of the startup which Startup India Seed Fund supports. Before you apply for Startup India Seed Fund, you also need to look at which incubator you are applying with, because every incubator has their own focus sectors. If you doesn't fall under their focus sector, the chances of getting your application through that incubator is really difficult, because like every incubator has their own focus sectors. As I mentioned, that's the expertise that they carry. So that's where they evaluate you according to the thing, according to the justification that they can provide to you. And in the growth stage, equity and debt and high impact agri-tech startups, if you look at Agri-Sure is one of the best fund which is available. Again, it's operated by NAB Ventures. It's a category 2 SEBI registered fund with a corpus of 750 crores, 250 crore each from Government of India and NABARD, and 250 crores from private institutions that the government has raised, or the government has raised, and then it's operated under NAB Ventures. They typically have supported 85 agri startups with up to 25 crores in equity and debt. As it's a 750 crore total fund, they can only fund maximum of 25 crores per startup. So far, 85 startups have been supported. Again, there are typical sectors that they focus on: agri-tech, food processing, animal husbandry, fisheries, supply chain management. When we speak about supply chain management, they majorly focus on any of the agri related or agri allied supply chain management. Then the farm mechanization, biotechnology, waste management, renewable energy, FPO support, climate resilient agriculture. So these are the quite a decent set of sectors that they really focus on. Uh, Before you apply for, you need to check for the eligibility of your eligibility to this scheme. You should be in agriculture allied sectors, scalable business model. When we speak about scalable business model, if you are making a revenue of maybe 2 crore rupees annually this year, can, with the equity that you raise, can this 2 crores can be moved to at least maybe 5 to 6 crores in a year? How fast can you multiply your business? How fast your revenues can multiply? Again, this, because you are working in the agriculture sector, which is the bottom of the pyramid, it also looked at the measurable social and economic impact that your business creates. For this, you need to prepare your pitch which speaks about your problem statement, what is the innovative solution that you are developing, what stage you are, how fast you can multiply your business, where are you serving, which category of farmers you are serving, what is the impact that you will be able to create, and then what is the focus of your business going forward for next 3 to 5 years, what is the impact on the farmers that you're going to create. So this is the entire detailed business plan that you prepare and pitch to the committee. Then how do you get to this? You can send your applications to NAB Ventures either by writing an email, or you can visit the website and then submit your things. Screening and decision happens as per the terms and conditions decided by NAB Ventures. Then you can also, if you are working on the post harvested infrastructure, as I mentioned, like cold storage, warehouses, etc., then you can look for Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare has an AAF in the medium to long term debt financing at a 3% interest. At a 3% interest, this is again covered by credit guarantee support under by Government of India to support the agripreneurs. Here, this is the one of the good schemes if if you are operating in cold storage, warehouses, storing, grading, and packaging units, primary and integrated processing units. So these are like eligible projects, I would say, because this scheme doesn't only look at the entire structure of the business. Even under the particular business that you are operating, if you have a project which fits to this, still you can apply for this. So as of 2024 August, 47,575 crores has been sanctioned for 74,508 projects. And then the total allocation under this scheme is 1 lakh crore rupees. So that's the best thing which we need to leverage and use it. How do you access this? Identify an eligible post harvest or processing project. Go to the website, check for the details, try to understand which sort of projects are they looking for. Does your project fall under those heads? then you approach a participating bank or NBFC. So there is a quite a decent list of banks which are supporting under this scheme. You need to check for those banks, and then you can approach any of the bank which suits you. Apply on AIFMIS portal for your DPR. So once you prepare your detailed project report, you can also apply through the portal. Once you apply through the portal, it routes application to the respective bank as per the preference that you fill in. Avail 3% interest subdivision and credit guarantee for up to 7 years. So this is the entire scheme. This is again covered under CGTMSE from Government of India, where in case if you fail to repay the loan, in the sense, if you are not able to scale your business and then you end up closing your business, then as a founder you are not liable to repay. As a founder you are not liable to repay. Here the entire thing will be considered as a non-performing asset by the bank, and then government ensures that they make payment to the particular bank. However, you need to also look at which are the active banks which are supporting, though there are a decent list of banks which are registered under this particular scheme. Then we also have like formalize and scale your agri-food.
Sorry to interrupt. We can quickly finish so that we can have time for discussion. We can interact with the participants also.
Sure, just give me maybe 3-4 minutes. I will close the presentation.
Okay, okay.
So I will share this presentation for you people so that you can get a detailed idea about these things. So when you raise up, it's good to raise upfront capital, because having upfront capital will give you a confidence and also will support you in expanding your business fast and decision making. Then how do you raise this upfront capital? It's better basis the stage that you are in. Raise upfront capital through an RBF investor, which is again equity. It is not it's non-dilutive, because you are not giving any equity. Here no board seat is given to the investor, so you have the entire authority on your business operations. Agree on revenue share. So you pay X amount of EMI basis the revenue that you generate in that particular month, and then payments flex with revenues. Because your payment is dependent on your revenue, you pay less, you will have a larger opportunity for the operations of your business, which will help you in scaling your business fast. Repay from your success. Once you when you structure this revenue based financing, you also put up something called as like, unless until we reach this particular revenue, we will be paying maybe 3% of your revenue per month. Once you get to that, then you are able to pay actual EMIs that you can decide, which will help you to scale your business. Most of the times it's good to use the blended capital strategy. When we say blended capital strategy, it's a mix of equity, debt, revenue based financing, multiple formats of investment, which will help you to scale faster. So I'm skipping this is again a playbook. Again, these are examples. So Hoof and Food Private Limited is one of the startups that I closely work with. This is the Farming Buddha. So what they do is that they build a tech platform for traceability of the milk. So they were operating from a village called Neelamangala near Mysore. So they were not any equity friendly business to raise the money. So they needed capital for expansion. They reached out to investors but not able to raise, because most of the funds were going for infra development. So what we did is that we were able to reach out to government under particular scheme, and we were able to get them a grant of 30 lakh rupees. So once 30 lakh rupees has been processed, so one of the banks came forward and supported them with a debt format basis the grant that they received, and then the stage that they are operating, and then the structure that they have built. So with this entire close to 50 lakh rupees of the investment that they raised, they were able to expand their business. When they came to us, they were operating from 2 villages, maybe 15 to 20 farmers. Today they are operating in 5 to 6 villages. They are expanding their business. They were operating only in Mysore. Now they are expanding their business to Bangalore as well. To fulfill the Bangalore requirements and grab the market, they are not taking B2C route. So they slightly pivoted here. They took B2B route, which has helped them in grabbing larger orders, which is helping them in their building their revenue books, which will help them eventually to raise the larger equity capital going forward. So this is again the crux of the investment or the structure that has been pumped into the market till date. So your action plan starts first. You need to register your startup under Startup India through TPIIT, which will take you 1 to 2 days. Again, it's free of cost. Once you register your startup, then look for the non-dilutive grants which are available very specifically for agri businesses. Start applying for them. Do not get demotivated if you are not getting selected. Try to introspect what has happened. Most of the times, as the founders, we get deep into signs of the business. It's always good to speak the numbers on the business, which will give the confidence to the investors. Then consider RBF at early stage. Typically we don't suggest RBF for tech businesses etc at early stage, but looking at the agri as a business, RBF is a good thing at very early stage. So that's something from my side. Would be happy to take any questions or further discussion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such an enlightening session. Thanks for explaining how government helps agri-tech startups at early stages and the various government schemes and the suggestions which would really helpful for all the startups. Thank you once again for sharing such a valuable guidance and helping participants understand how to effectively we can use the government support to build and scale agri-based enterprises. So participants, if you have any questions regarding these two sessions, you can keep in chat box and also you can raise your hand. So the questions will be taken up now. Subhash sir, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'll quickly take up few questions. So this question is to Subhash sir from Priya. Can an individual apply for multiple scheme at the same time, and how do we choose the right scheme based on our business stage?
Yes, as I mentioned, even a combination of schemes is allowed. So that means any individual can avail multiple schemes at the same time. One. Second, not all schemes require somebody to have a registered entity. Schemes like PMFME, PMEGP, they don't ask for any entity as such. So even at the individual level, they can go ahead and apply for the scheme to get the benefit. That's second thing. And at what stage, which scheme I already have shown. So if they're a startup, then there are a set of schemes like RKVY-RAFTAAR, which is very much relevant. Even if it is a startup which is looking at very small size investment, which is like a nano or a micro enterprise, schemes like PMFME, AIF, even PMMSY, and even our National Livestock Mission. So these schemes can be considered. Yeah. And if they're looking for a bigger scale of investment during scaling up, then AHIDF and other schemes they can go for.
So one question from Mrudul to Yasin sir. So you discuss some schemes where if we need to close business due to XYZ reason, we do not need to pay. Can you name the schemes again?
Buddy, let me tell you, do not think from the perspective ki if I raise money through a particular scheme, if I want to shut down the business. So that's the wrong approach. Why I will tell you. So you are killing your motivation today by approaching for that particular scheme. I told that particular scheme comes under CGTMSC. So there are multiple schemes under CGTMSC which are listed by Government of India. Figure out the schemes, reach out to respective banks. Banks will process your application. When they process your application, they go through a typical their evaluation mechanism, and then they decide what sort of the debt that you can get it. So once you get the debt, then you need to also reach your milestones and you need to also repay it timely. If there is an unexceptional situation where you are shutting down your business, then the entire entire the investment that has been made by the bank or the debt that has been processed by the bank will be considered as a non-performing asset. However, do not take the approach key, let me just get this fund and then close the business. That's not how it works. There are multiple checks and balances. Even also, let me tell you, bank considers only 40% as an NPA. Rest 60% is repaid by Government of India. For even this 40%, there are multiple banks who take personal guarantee of the founder. Okay, just be smart enough to understand how banks are operating here.
Yes. So one more question from Akshay Chaurasia. Sir, if a student wants to start a small terrarium based micro enterprises, Which government loan schemes are available? Are schemes like PM-EGP and Mudra loan schemes applicable for terrarium business?
Yes.
These
Yes.
loans are applicable.
PMAGP. Yeah, PMAGP is applicable. Yep.
Okay, I'll unmute someone. Few people has raised the hand. May Jacob? Jacob, are you there? Mr. Jacob?
Can you,
Yeah.
yes, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes,
So,
you're audible.
I mean, yeah. So I work at the grassroots level with FPOs, FPCs, SSGs, right from formation. So with SFAC or NABARD. So NABARD is, I think, seizing. I don't know if Subhash sir can weigh in on this. Maybe NABARD is closing down or thinking of reducing the FPO, FPC scheme. They're probably moving into a new terrain of forming farmer coalitions. So I think that's something NABARD is looking into. SFAC may be continuing with FPO, FPC. So my point I'm trying to make here is more of I'm seeking for some kind of a thought process into how we can leverage. So the area that I'm working with, PMFME, state leads, district resource persons, they seem to be at a place where they can't help organizations. They're saying, okay, this state may not receive as much funding as that state, so we're pausing PMFME, and they're also slowing down applications, right? So I'm trying to see if the district resource person or even the state lead can't really help with the PMFME funding. How do we go beyond them? What is the next step that my state or the people I work with? How can I help them with PMFME funding? The other thing is private banks, right? By private banks, I mean nationalized banks, of course. Even them, AIF funding, it's a huge. They put in so many roadblocks. It is easier said than done. They bring in forget about CIBIL score of individuals who are applying, but even so many roadblocks. In fact, recently I spoke with a bank official regarding DPR, and they were of the opinion, oh, you've used AI for some parts of the report creation. And I had to actually ask them, whatever the bank requires is non-AI, right? Your financials, your infrastructure, all of your drawings, all of that is non-AI. The other fluff is created through AI or whatever to meet the time requirement. They create so many roadblocks. It confounds me as to how statewide allocations of central funds are actually decided, and if we have breakdowns, are is it how do we jump hoops? How do individual investors or individuals who want to set up these farm gate infrastructures, food processing infrastructures, how can they jump the hoop set by the state resource persons and access the funds centrally? So if you have some information on that, that will be amazing. Also, just one last question: can FPOs, FPCs also register as startups?
If I am allowed to answer this, I'll start with the last one. So that's the easiest to answer. So of course, FPCs can be registered as startups in the DPIIT. That's as simple as that. So you can go ahead. One. Second part, whatever we discussed about the PMFME and the FPOs, that's, it has multiple levels and it was a little complex at every end. So I'll take one by one. So there are the 4 or 5 things that you asked for. So first thing, let me clarify, PMFME is going to continue. So it was already issued last year itself that the continuation from 2026 in a different format. As of now, it is only 35% up to 10 lakh rupees at the individual level. And once it is extended, it is going to be absolute 35%. That means even at the individual category, they'll be able to get maximum 35%, 35 lakhs up to micro enterprise category of 1 crore. I think the still discussions are going on because the government of India's definition of a micro enterprise has been now changed. So in that context, certain modifications might be there. That's one. Second, when you asked about fund allocation to various states, it was a larger fund that was allocated by Government of India to support all states equally. And basis the population and the potential of micro enterprises in the state, certain targets were allocated, and these targets were reallocated based on the state's performance. Somebody, for example, I think as per my knowledge goes, Uttar Pradesh has been allocated the highest target, followed by Maharashtra and Bihar. So in these states, where if they don't perform or if they are not utilizing the funds allocated to them, that is reallocated to the other states. So as of now, out of the 2 lakhs target that was kept for the 5 years period up to 2026 March, so only 1.4 lakh enterprises were supported, and there is still a gap of 60,000, I think, which is going to be carried forward in the next financial year. So funding is not at all a problem. And I don't know which state, you have faced this problem, but problem with the banker is universal. So most of the times what's happening is at the top level, at the RM level or at the zonal manager level, so they have clarity. But when it comes to the branch manager level, we face problems at every stage. I mean, with all the bankers. So only thing is we have to pursue. And one philosophy or one principle that we followed here was in Andhra Pradesh. So you just don't go to a banker with a loan proposal. Okay, so that should not be the first time you're approaching a banker. So you have to build a relation with a banker. For that, you have to go and start informing the banker or the branch manager who you are going to submit your proposals. So quite a good number of times, like 2-3 times, inform them what kind of activity you are looking at, then submit your proposal. And most of the times, the one mistake most of the entrepreneurs and even the FPOs do is they simply say, okay, there is a CGTMS scheme. Why don't you provide me collateral-free subsidy, which actually puts your situation in a bad shape. So instead, you appraise them the proposal, what is the intent behind it, and if possible, take the banker to your field visit. So that's when they'll get that confidence. And most of the times, we have seen bankers coming forward and informing or educating or advising the proposal makers how they can modify it well so that they can accommodate and clear it the earliest. So that initial 1-2 visits to a branch manager is definitely going to help you. That's with regard to the banker. Coming to the challenges that you might have faced with the DRPs, the district resource persons or the state resource persons. The district resource persons are incentivized for the number of loans they get cleared at the banker level. So their responsibility is to first, once the application is raised by a potential entrepreneur, they have to sit with the entrepreneur, guide them about the entire proposal, help them get the quotations from a reliable vendor, then prepare the DPR. Preparation of DPR is also completely online system. So once they submit the details, it generates automatically. And then facilitating a bank loan by sitting with the banker, because most of the times entrepreneur may not be in a position to clarify some of the technical nitty-gritties. Only that part DRP can do, but justifying their activity and justifying how they are able to sustain this business, what is their market potential, how are they going to engage people and all, that answers have to come from the beneficiary. Okay, so you need not pay anything, and the DRP gets only that incentive after getting the bank loan and sanction and the disbursement happen. That becomes very important for them to perform. So if somebody is not helping you, that means they are not really serious, and complaint can be raised against such individuals. That's another point. And the last thing, at the state level, if at all you are not getting support for promoting or creating infrastructure facilities at the FPO level. So actually, unlike individual enterprises, FPO proposals, which are the collectives common infrastructure facilities that you create under FPOs or FPCs, is approved by the state committee, which is headed by the SNA, the state nodal agency. So that's where the district nodal officers have no role. Even district resource persons have no role in it. So these has to be facilitated by the state resource persons, state nodal agency. So whichever is the state nodal agency, you can approach them. And here, even for preparing the DPR, okay, the FPO is also provided 50,000 rupees as a financial assistance. So in case FPO is willing to engage a consultancy to prepare the DPR, because bankers demand a little detailed DPR when the bank loan goes beyond a crore. So for that also 50,000 rupees is provided. That support also you can avail by approaching the SNA. So one recent example, though I left the organization recently, so one latest example that I can share with you is we got about 1.8 crore rupees sanctioned without any collateral for an FPO called Raitula Jattu in Vizianagaram district for setting up a jaggery processing unit. Okay, so it was even sanctioned by the local cooperative bank, not even a national bank. Okay, that is quite possible. Funds are available, support is there. In case if you are facing any challenge, you please raise the issue with the concerned state nodal agency. Yeah. So I hope I answered all the questions. In case if I have missed any, please I can clarify.
Okay, sir. I think we are also running behind the time. So, but I'm seeing many questions. Okay, I'll take a few questions. Someone has raised the hand. Chaitanya.
Yeah, hi. Good morning. This is Chaitanya here. Quickly, I'll submit. This question is for both Subhash ji and Yasin Sharif ji. The different funds that are released for a startup, we are working on AI and something else. The 5 lakh and the 20 lakh, and then going further up. Later on, at a later stage, when you have MVP and things happening, funds getting and knocking doors and things are fine. However, as the way I am seeing it with what we are developing, our hiring AI professionals, and we are also working on whether and getting all those on board to get something out to even the MVP stage. It is actually costing, we are doing some maths and it's just going beyond 10-15 lakhs. So how do we, a 5 lakh amount will barely last us maybe a couple of months to get on. So in such a scenario where it's very crucial, how do you look at that fund in the initial part? And because as I was checking around, I was told that the initial 5 lakh definitely comes out, but 20 takes some time. I was checking with some other entrepreneurs who are on the same journey. So can you please enlighten on that? Because the initial journey itself is the major hitch. Later on, definitely once things are moving, you can always go out and hunt out in the market. I have already done things in the past, so I'm coming from there and want to capitalize on the supports out here. Over to you, gentlemen, please. Thank you.
So, tell me something. Where do you come from? Which region do you come from?
1 minute, sir. I think he's in mute. Yeah, Chaitanya, is it audible?
Yeah. So Yasin ji,
So, Chaitanya,
I come
yeah.
from Bombay, Maharashtra.
So see, I think it's a tier 2, tier 3 town, right? Somewhere.
So I'm on the outskirts. Yeah, I'm on the outskirts of Mumbai, but the project areas that we're looking are you can say these are district level. The pilots where we are
No, I
looking at.
understand. My point is that where is your organization registered? Does it come under tier 2 city, tier 3 city? Where does it come under?
Tier 1, sir, Bombay, Mumbai.
Like Bombay is okay, but you are in the suburbs of Bombay, right? It's in the Mumbai Bombay Municipal Corporation limits.
It's in Thana district. Yeah, you're right there. I don't know whether Thana district comes in tier 2 or I'm not aware of that. It's in the suburbs of Mumbai. Yes.
I understand. So, my point is that even in Thane is an urban city. If you are
Right.
beyond Thane, if it's fall under tier 2, tier 3 cities, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology is majorly focusing on AI/ML startups these days. Even under AI/ML, agriculture is one of their focus sectors because it's a mandate for them to support SDG goals, under which they have two schemes. One is a Genesis scheme, which is very core for tier 2, tier 3 cities. If you are there, you get a prototype grant of 10 lakh rupees. Further and above, in the same scheme, if you are able to raise maybe 20 to 25 lakh rupees of equity capital, either through an angel investor, non-government related institutions, ministry will also put in the equal amount of money into your business in the same terms and conditions. That is one of the lucrative opportunities which the startup has to grab, and this scheme is very active. It is going to be in place for next 3 years for definite, because they started it last year. The timeline for this scheme is for 5 years.
Okay.
That is one thing which you can focus on. Second, because AI falls under tech wallet division, if you look at this DBS Foundation, DBS Bank has a DBS Foundation, which is a global organization. They accept applications once in a year for supporting projects under SDG goals, very specific to SDG goals. So there they give you a larger grant of close to $25,000, I think so, Singapore dollars something.
Okay.
So that's an opportunity which will really pump you to a larger uh, stage. Subhash sir, if you have anything to add.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, Subhash sir.
So not really from my end. So in case if you can give me some details about the specific project that you are trying to work on, probably I'll be able to help you. It's not in a generic way.
Okay. Okay, sir. I'll take up last one question so that we can conclude that from Anshuman.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
So
Anshuman.
actually, yeah. So actually, I applied for Startup India Seed Fund few days back. So got selected for the first meeting. So after I presented my pitch in front of the startup committee, incubator committee, so they have rejected the grant and given a CCD. But still, I currently I'm in a alpha prototype stage, and I need the fund for beta prototype. So what would be the solution for this, sir?
Okay. So I am not clear about the fund availability at that stage because it again depends on the incubator to incubator. So which incubator you are referring to?
First, I applied for ICCO. It's in Guwahati, in Assam.
Okay.
The second one is Chitkara University from Punjab.
Okay. Okay.
And the third one is IIM Kashipur. But I presented in second also, but no confirmation has come as of now. But from the first incubator, the confirmation has come that they have selected me for the CCD only, not for the grant.
Okay. Okay. Maybe because every incubator have their own way of functioning. So unless we know what is the fund they are managing, we'll not be able to clearly tell you. Maybe SNG might be aware of some of these funds. Maybe if you can.
Yeah, I will give you a broad overline for this. So how Startup India Seed Fund works is that once X amount is allocated to an incubator, let's say 5 crores is allocated to one incubator, out of which 20% can be processed as grants, but it's not mandatory. Maximum 20% of the fund size can be processed as grant to the startups by that particular incubator. Rest of the amount has to be done under CCDs. So that's the structure of the scheme for any particular incubator to operate in. Now there can be 2-3 scenarios. One is that they would have exhausted their 20%, then they will not be able to give you grant. Still they like your idea, they wanted to really invest in you, so they might have offered you CCD. So this is one scenario. Second scenario is that IC also holds decision making capacity, where they said they can come back and say, though you applied for a grant, but we would recommend this startup for CCD. This is still a possibility under Startup India Seed Fund, where investment committee has, once you pitch, investment committee can also take decision and come back and say, rather the grant, CCD fits you. That might be also a situation, but if you want to get the ground reality from that particular incubator, they can only help you with.
Thank you, Asin sir. So that's all for today. So due to time constraints, we are unable to address every question during this session. I'm so sorry. Still, I can see few questions and many participants want to talk with the speakers. But don't worry, you can still reach out to our speakers directly. Their contact details have shared in the chat box. And also, if you missed any part of today's webinar, and if you want to watch this webinar again, the YouTube link to watch the full session is also provided in the chat box. And also, to stay updated on upcoming events and programs and exciting opportunities from Manes, be sure to follow us on our social media handles. And along with this, I have something to update. So Manes here cohort 15 applications are open. So interested entrepreneur startups, you can apply for it and get a funding up to 25 lakhs. And so before concluding the session, I would like to thank both the speakers, Kiran sir and also Yasin sir, for sharing your insights today. It's really our pleasure to have you here. And also, I would like to thank our director, Dr. Saravananda sir, for organizing this webinar. And also, I would like to thank entire team for their efforts in organizing today's webinar. Finally, don't forget to give the feedback of this webinar. The feedback link is also given in the chat box. And also do register for the upcoming webinar. So see you next week with another exciting topic. Until then, please take care and stay inspired. Bye. So thank you, Subhash sir, and thank you,
Thank you so
Yasin
much.
sir. Yeah. Yasin sir, wish you and your family a blessed and joyful Ramzan. And sorry to bother you today.
No problem, no problem. Always. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Netflix, hello, yeah, yeah, no.